Imagine leaving behind everything you've ever known, your home, your possessions, even your family, all for your faith. What would it take for you to make such a sacrifice? Would you be strong enough? This is the story of the Hijrah, a moment that forever changed the course of history. A migration so profound, it marked the start of the Islamic calendar and redefined what it means to have trust in Allah. But why did the Prophet Muhammad and his followers have to leave Makkah? What dangers did they face on their journey? And how did this migration pave the way for one of the greatest civilizations the world has ever seen? Stay with me as we uncover this extraordinary story of faith, courage, and perseverance. Let's step back to understand the gravity of this moment. In the year 622 CE, Makkah was not a welcoming place for Muslims. The Quraysh, the ruling tribe, opposed the teachings of Prophet Muhammad because Islam challenged their way of life, their idols, and their power. Muslims were tortured, boycotted, and ostracized. Now, imagine yourself in their shoes. What would you do if simply saying La ilaha illallah put your life at risk? The pressure was mounting, and the Prophet received a divine command. It was time to leave Makkah for a place where Islam could flourish. That place was Yathrib, later known as Medina. The migration was not an easy decision. Families were torn apart, and the journey ahead was perilous. Abu Bakr, the closest companion of the Prophet, played a key role. He offered his protection and even prepared 2 camels for the journey. Yet, this was no ordinary road trip. The Quraysh had placed a bounty on the Prophet's head, 100 camels for anyone who captured him. Can you imagine the weight of that threat? As the Prophet and Abu Bakr slipped out of Makkah under the cover of darkness, they headed not directly to Medina, but to the Cave of Thawr, a small hideout in the mountains. Here, they stayed for 3 days as their pursuers scoured the land. The Quraysh were relentless, coming dangerously close to the cave. At one point, they were only steps away. Abu Bakr, overcome with fear, whispered to the Prophet, "If they just look down, they will see us." But the Prophet, with unshakable faith, replied, "Do not grieve, for Allah is with us." What happens next will leave you in awe of Allah's divine protection. Do you trust Allah this much? Would you remain calm under such pressure? After escaping the cave, the journey to Medina was far from over. Traveling under the scorching sun, with little food and constant danger, the Prophet and Abu Bakr pressed on. Along the way, miracles unfolded. When Suraqah ibn Malik, a skilled tracker, pursued them for the bounty, his horse suddenly sank into the sand, preventing him from harming the Prophet. At another stop, the milk of a starving goat flowed abundantly to provide sustenance. This wasn't just a physical journey. It was a spiritual test of patience, trust, and unwavering belief in Allah's plan. When the Prophet and his companions finally reached Medina, they were met with open arms. The people of Medina, known as the Ansar, welcomed the Muhajirun with a hospitality that is still remembered today. The unity between the Ansar and the Muhajirun became a cornerstone of the Muslim community, a brotherhood based not on blood, but on faith. The Hijrah was not just a migration, it was the foundation of the first Islamic state. Medina became a sanctuary where Muslims could practice their faith freely, laying the groundwork for the spread of Islam. But what does the Hijrah mean for us today? It's a reminder that no matter how difficult life gets, we must place our trust in Allah. The trials we face are temporary, but His reward is eternal. The story of the Hijrah is not just history, it's a lesson for every Muslim. It's about sacrifice, courage, and the power of faith. Now ask yourself, what are you willing to leave behind to strengthen your faith? How can you make your own Hijrah to become closer to Allah? Let this story inspire you to take that first step toward a life centered on Islam. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of Islamic glory. Together, let's keep the legacy of Islam alive.